Wagwan, Wagwan. Welcome back to the DIY Yardie channel. Welcome if it's your first time. In today's video, I'm doing a complete rear strut installation on a 2007 Honda Ridgeline. Alright, if you find this video helpful, please subscribe and give a thumbs up. Okay, tools we'll need is our impact, breaker bar, half-inch drive extensions, half-inch drive ratchet, and 14 millimeter, a 22 millimeter, and 24 millimeter sockets, and a hammer. Alright, now jumping right into this. This is what it looks like, and it'll be the same setup from 2006 to 2014 will be the same process to do this job. Alright, so first of all, you want to get your jack under the frame of your car, and always place the jack on the frame of the car. I mean my jack stand, sorry. Okay, and I always use my jack as a secondary backup. Okay, so these are what we'll be pulling. There are three 14 millimeter bolts on the top of the strut. There's a 14 millimeter, and over there's a 24, and this one is a 22 millimeter. Alright, so like I said, I use my jack for secondary support. Pulling a 24 millimeter, which is the lower bolt on the strut. Get that pulled. Then I go on to the 22 millimeter, which is the outer bolt on the lower control arm. So both of these bolts on the lower control arm, we're not removing the control arm from the car, we're just taking these bolts out so we can get the control arm lowered out of the way in order to get the strut out. Alright, like I said, please subscribe to my channel. It's free, no charge. If you find this video helpful, I will be putting up a lot more videos. So if you subscribe, you'll get a notification when the video comes out. Alright, so this is a 14 that I'm removing right here, and this bolt that this nut that I just removed, it comes from the sway bar, or the sway bar linkage. Alright, so take that nut off and you move that out of the way. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and get the upper bolts on the strut loose, and these are 14. That's where the impact comes in. If you have an impact, it makes the job faster, but you really don't need an impact. If you don't have one, you can do it with your breaker bar and your half-inch drive ratchet. It takes a little longer, doing it the manual way, but it can be done. Alright, so that's 2, and we're going for number 3. There's a lot of rust, when these bolts are being pulled. That's why it helps to have an impact. But like I said, you don't need it. All right, so this is the bolt for the lower strut support, and you can see the difference in the shape of the bolt. This is the outer one. You see there's a point on this one, and the reason there's a point on that one is when you're putting it back in, it can be a little tedious getting it back in there. You have to take the hammer and tap on it to get it lined up. That's why there's a point on there. Alright, so getting everything loose and getting the strut out, you want to push down on the lower control arm. Okay, so try to take it out this way. It can, but it'll be a little difficult, so best thing to do is hold the control arm down and lift up on the strut. There you go. And she's out. Alright, and the replacement is this baby here. And when you install it, the two holes facing forward. Alright? Two holes up on the top of the strut are facing forward, one to the back or the rear. So you're gonna put the top of the strut in first, push down on the control arm and put the top of the strut in first. Because if you put the bottom in and then try to put the top, it's gonna give you some problems. So top first, and just drop the bottom. Remember, from 2006 to 2014, same process. Alright, you make sure everything's lined up, starting to get the bolts back in. And same thing, this is the right rear that I'm doing here, left rear, same process. So all the bolts are pretty easy to get started. Like I said, the one that's going to give problems is this outer one. This outer one, because there's you're going to have some tension from the strut, you know, to have it reconnected. So I'm going to use my jack under the lower control arm to help me position it back in place, or reposition. Get the jack under here. Alright, and then I'm gonna jack up on it and try to get the holes lined up. Okay, so remember that rounded bolt goes in the strut, the lower strut, and this one goes out next to the rotor. Okay, so tapping on it, get it in. You just want to get it started. Like when you look to the other side, you should see the point. The point should be in the middle of the hole on the opposite side. That hole there, you should see the point at least in the middle of the hole. Like I said, you know, having an impact, it does make the job easier, but this can be done without the impact. Lower strut bolt. Got to get our sway bar linkage back in. This is our sway bar linkage. That's a 14 millimeter. And these sway bar linkage bolts sometimes can be kind of hard to get off, you know, but this is a new sway bar linkage on here, so it came apart pretty easily. Had it been the original sway bar linkage, you might have had to end up replacing it, or you know, spraying it down with some kind of WD-40 type, you know. Alright, so now we're getting the top bolts tightened, and these are 14 millimeters, 3 of them, 2 to the front, 1 to the rear. You can see, you know, it's not a hard job if you have the right tools. That was my sway bar linkage. I was making sure that's tight. And now I'm doing the 2 forward bolts on the upper strut. Pardon my camera handles. I got the camera strapped to me, so everywhere I turn, the camera turns. Trying something different. And again, if you find this video helpful, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. No charge. You'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. Alright, and it'll help me to grow my channel, which I would appreciate. So I'll get these tightened down. There we go. All done. And like I said, the same process you did on one side, you do on the other. Alright? Now, enough respect. I am the DIY Yardie. And like I said, if this video was helpful, please like, give me a thumbs up, and subscribe. Alright? Blessings.